Outside the federal women's prison in Dublin, demonstrators calling on the Bureau of Prisons to pause its plans to close the facility. They may be getting some last-minute help with their case, too. As KTVU's Ali Rasmus reports, attorneys filed an emergency injunction in federal court this morning.
Justice, justice, heed our call.
A group of family members, friends, and advocates for the women incarcerated at FCI Dublin Federal Prison gathered to call for their release. Earlier this week, Federal Bureau of Prison officials announced abruptly they were closing this facility and moving out the more than 600 women incarcerated here to other federal prisons across the country.
The children and the husbands of these women are going to be suffering immensely, right? Because there's only one other federal correctional facility in the state, and it's not large enough to house all of these women.
Since 2022, 7 corrections officers and the warden at the Dublin prison have been convicted of sexually abusing and assaulting the women incarcerated here. Earlier this month, a federal judge ordered a special master to come in and oversee operations and reforms. But in response, on Monday, the U.S. Bureau of Prisons announced instead it was going to shut down the prison entirely and move everyone out. Alexis Verdugo says she's worried her mother will be transferred to a federal prison in Illinois or even farther away. Verdugo and her husband and their young kids live in Phoenix. Her mother is in the middle of serving a 20-year sentence for drug-related crimes.
So it's been very chaotic. It's been a roller coaster of emotions this last week. She's called saying, you know, they're screaming at them. They're being asked to just up and pack all of their things into one small bag. You know, it just feels that they're being punished after they've already been victimized. And of course, like the unknown, they feel like in there they don't have anyone advocating for them.
The union representing the prison guards here is also upset FCI Dublin is shutting down.
My officers and their families have suffered the most devastating news this week, that they have lost their jobs at FCI Dublin and that most likely would be forced to abandon this community due to the closure.
The president of the union read a pre-prepared statement and did not answer any of our questions, but said this.
FCI Dublin should not close. It was being rehabilitated with the world watching.
At least on that point, the prison guards union and the advocates here are in agreement. Supporters of the women in custody decried the Bureau of Prisons' decision to shut down this facility.
It feels like a really big evasion of accountability because, you know, they could have closed the prison several years ago when the sexual abuse started coming out.
All of this comes as just this morning, attorneys representing some of the women in the prison filed an emergency injunction to stop them from being moved to other facilities. A federal judge will review that request for an emergency injunction, but it may be too late. Several sources tell KTVU that a vast majority of the 600 women incarcerated here at FCI Dublin have already been moved to other facilities. In Dublin, Ali Rasmus, KTVU, Fox 2 News.